check 1 2. Check 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Justin Thomas here. Let me know about the levels. This is kind of an impromptu live session. When is it not? Was having a little bit of some health situation going on the last month and a half, so I'm trying to jump back into the content game and saw this Vikings Valhalla. I believe it's a Brazilian, Netflix Brazil. I don't believe we had an American sneak peek, but nonetheless we're gonna show it and get a copyright strike, but screw it, and go over it a little bit. I got a breakdown of the cast. I've got a breakdown of pretty much who's involved on the writing, front of this, and we're just going to give it a casual look, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to take some time and look at it from a storytelling sense and see if I could structure it to figure out what they're going to do. I have a pretty good idea, but this is going to be pretty, free rolling here. So what we're gonna do, I want to say what's up to Cardinal Doomsday. Is a bit low. It's a bit low. All right, let's see. Is that better? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Let me know because we don't want it. I'm working with some new software here, so all right, as long as we can get the A-OK. What's going on? We got Santiva Major. I can never say your name correctly in Cardinal Doomsday here right now. Let me know right now. Same. All right. We'll kick it up. Let me go into actual sound settings. Amberlyn McKay. Okay, what's going on? Well, the Firehawks here. All right, hold on. Let's go to the actual microphone and go to the levels. I don't want to get it too loud. That's about as high as I'm going to go there because I don't want to go into red. All right. So we should be good. So, all right, let's take a quick look over here. We got Vikings Valhalla. I want to make sure everything's up and running, and it looks like it is. I do want to actually change the chat box so I can see it a little bit better. Let's see, font settings. Let's go with, will white maybe be better? Let's see. I want to see what you guys look like on screen here, and it should be good. We should be solid after that. But we've got the IMDb Pro up, and we've got a breakdown video. Not a video, well, it's a video, but it'll be more of a slideshow with all of the actual characters in it, which will be fun for us to go through. We got some pretty good gets here as far as the actors go. David Oakes being one of my favorite, but we won't jump ahead too much. I just want to make sure that we do have, let's see, the actual correct pages up so we can go without much hassle. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's go back to our intermission scene. Not intermission, but the Valhalla first look. All right. Oh yes, no, this is I'm working on a template here that I've been working on for a while for Morning Dragon, which will start hopefully in the next week or so, just once a week. And then as soon as we get closer to the series, it won't be very long. It'll be about like at 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, my end. And we will be talking about House of the Dragon news, and I'm going to be calling it Morning Dragon. So this is kind of the template, the layout that I've been working on graphic wise for that behind the scenes. So that'll be about like half hour to 45 minutes, and then like hopefully when the series gets popping, we'll move that up to like twice a week, maybe even three, but like at first just one time a week, and we'll go from there. So I want to thank my Patreon so much, and everybody that keeps me going even when I'm not technically going on here. But we will jump in to the actual series. So Vikings Valhalla is going to be taking place about 100 years after Vikings left off. So we're looking at 1000 AD to the Valhalla for Vikings, which would be 1066. This is the time in which we have the Battle of Hastings, the Battle of Stamford Bridge, and so forth, when you have the culmination of all of these great warriors from all sides of the world come to battle and pretty much make modern day England. And we are dealing with, let's go over to the casting and take a look at what we got going on here, because one of the very exciting things, at least for me, is that we're going to be dealing with, of course, we're going to have Leif Erikson and Freydis, Eric's daughter, which Eric the Red we saw in the last seasons of Vikings. I love that actor. Not so sweet on the portrayal of the, like the depiction of Eric, but that's neither here nor there. And this is, of course, there's the joke that, around Columbus Day, you always hear a lot about Leif Erikson and Freydis. These are there's actual archaeological proof and whatnot, carbon dating of longboats and all this, metallurgy and all those people that go and can actually, specifically say for certain that there was, these Vikings, these people from Norway that actually went and discovered what they called Vinland. It's, from my understanding, kind of by Norway, or not Norway, kind of by Nova Scotia and whatnot, and it's up there in Canada and so forth. But you have the Vinland sagas, and then you have on the other side something I'm very, very excited for, is you have the story about Canute the Great, because there is Alfred the Great, and then we are going to be jumping about 4 heirs after him. When you have kings such as, you can see it in the names of these kings, the Unready, Aethelred the Unready, and so forth. But Canute the Great had the North Sea Empire, and this is going to be about from, I believe it's a year 1001 all the way to the 1030. But like 1030, blah blah blah, ADD, not ADD, AD, and you'll see this man Canute, who is just a mastermind. Not like, how in Game of Thrones they have the scene where Tywin's asking Tommen, what makes a great king, right? Like, what makes a good ruler? And Canute really did have a lot of these traits. He was a master, politicker. He was a master when it came to, actually planting some seeds here and planting some seeds there, and then being vicious when he needed to and striking at the right time. And he's famous for sitting in the sea and showing that a king can't, make the waves stop and can't control everything. But so he was a master of propaganda, manipulation, whatever you want to call it. Great warrior, and he is going to be played in this series. And you also have pretty much kind of what happened with Vikings, where you do have some combination of times, but not as much. Like, you have the Vinland sagas, which start to take place at the beginning of after 1000 AD, and then you'll have Eric Hardrada, who is in this series as well. He is famous for the Battle at Stamford Bridge and so forth, right before the Battle of Hastings, when you have 1066, the battle pretty much for England. And he is he goes to Byzantium, and he is a Varangian guard, and he does all these really cool things, but he's around during the upbringing of all these great warriors. And we'll go to the cast list right here. So we'll have a Vinland saga, and I think they'll keep it separate, more like Asoiaf, like Song of Ice and Fire-esque, I want to say, not too heavily, but we will have separate story threads, because I really don't see what will connect Eric Hardrada, not Eric Hardrada, but well, for some part, yeah, but Leif Erikson and Freydis Eriksdottir with anybody in Europe. I really don't see what's gonna connect that. So I don't know the end game connection. I don't think there really needs to be one, but maybe you guys will know. I mean, I'm not a historian, but we'll have King Canute, and let's go to the cast right here. Let's go over here so we can actually start showing them. So Canute dies in 1035 AD. Yes, and Harold Hardrada. He was known as Harold Signarsson, I believe, for a bit here. Let's actually go to the video capture slide. We want to go, okay, here we go. And now we can actually look at the cast. But we have a lot of great stories that happen in the limbo time, where pretty much what I was trying to get at is Britain, they kind of they fuck up people for a good period of time, for at least 4 generations of kings. It's not great. So Canute runs that shit with the North Sea Empire, and then you get back when you have William the Bastard, who turns into William the Conqueror, a direct descendant of Rollo, right? Harold Godwinson, and we have his father that's going to be played by David Oakes, one of my all-time favorite actors. But let me actually go to the good picture here. All right, so that should do it. All right, so let's look at our cast right here. This is the people that we know are casted, and we'll have a breakdown who they're playing. All right, so I'm gonna butcher a lot of these names, but fuck it. Sam CORLETT, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Never seen it. I'm pretty sure that that's McKenna Grace, I believe, is the actress's name. She was Don Draper's daughter. But really, who gives a shit, right? A Greenlander, raised on the outer fringes of the known world. He comes from a tightly knit family, stepdad, and the old pagan beliefs. An intemperate sailor and physically tough. Leaf is our entry into a Viking world in the throes of violent change. So this is your Leif Erikson, which I think this is a pretty good cast. I think this gentleman looks to be... This is good because this is a younger gentleman right here as well. And this should be fun. Let's see. So let's move. So this will be Leif right here. And now we will go on to his sister. Frida. They always get a lot of Danish actors and actresses, and it's I don't know. She's in The Witcher though, and she's going to be playing Freda's Eric's daughter, who is a fiercely pagan, fiery and headstrong. She is a staunch believer in the old gods, like her brother Leif. She reaches Kattegat. Ugh, I don't like how they're including Kattegat in here. Kattegat was not a real place, by the way. It was a seaport, but whatever. Save that for more bitching. She reaches Kattegat as an outsider, but becomes an inspiration to those of the old ways. If you recall, Frida was one of the cast members we revealed earlier. Yeah, this is from an article, so I should have let that out. Yeah, she was one of the first announced, is what that is getting at. But so I don't know if they're really going to be playing along with her Vinland saga, or if they're just gonna have Eric do that. I have a real weird feeling that they're gonna keep her over in Scandinavia, people, because there's gonna be a connection with another castmate that's coming, and I don't like that. I don't really care that much, I guess, but I don't like it off the top of my head, because there's two different like incarnations of her in these sagas, the Vinland sagas. One in which she's a little bit more like tempered or whatever. She's a little bit more laid back. She's a little bit more passive, which isn't the best one. That's mostly focused on Eric. But then there's this really good story about her when she pretty much like fights off like this Native American tribe. Take that as you will. That's no politics here. And she pretty much like, she is the Lagertha of this story for sure. If they play it right, she pretty much makes all the men look like bitches and calls them bitches. I'll link the actual story below. I believe you can get the PDF of it for free. And she pretty much whoops ass and then, you know, calls out all the men. So in this time, and hey, I love Lagertha. I love the strong female warriors. I love that it's actually true to history. So I'd really like to see that. But it looks like they're keeping her in Scandinavia for some freaking reason. What's going on, Danny and McKay? Thank you guys for all coming by. So we'll see how this pans out. So what they could be doing is keeping Eric over there. And I guess, hey, right here off the top of my head, what I was talking about with having the Vinland saga and then having what's going on over in Great Britain and you know, of course, with when you have you know, it's not France at the time, but it's Normandy. So, you know, you have the Normans, and then you have the Saxons, and then you have Scandinavians, and then you have everybody that's over in frickin' North America. So that could be a way to actually merge those story threads, because it would be kind of odd. You don't necessarily need it, but right, guys, it would be kind of odd if we had a story thread that didn't like loop in at all, right? Like Vikings, they had everybody go separate and they found their own paths at the end, but they started combined and then they splintered off, is what you'd call like a spider story theory, which everything goes off, but everything started at a center. So usually you do need some like culmination or a beginning in which they are together. But, you know, rules are meant to be broken, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. Very beautiful character, too. Catherine Winnick is my top 10 here. But hey, you know, she looks like a badass, and, you know, I'm all about that. So Leo Sutter from The Liberator will play Harold. See, this is Sigurdsson, but that's Harold Hydrata. And He's born into the Viking nobility. Harold is one of the last Viking berserkers, charismatic, ambitious, and handsome. He's able to unite both followers of Odin and Christians. So he is somebody that goes, because you go a Viking or you can become a Varangian. A Varangian is Vikings that went east. So they would go down to Byzantium, they would go to Russia, and so forth. So a Varangian guard is somebody that usually went down, and they were guards for the Byzantine emperors. And so this is Harold Hydrata's like youth, like the in-between time. Like I'm talking about the limbo time between 1000 AD and 1066, because that would be the end, the actual, Vikings assimilated pretty freaking quick, because, give people good land and a chance at a good family, and we're all human beings in the end, like people tend to get through their shit, or they used to, I don't know. But, they're not to say that they didn't have staunch beliefs, and there wasn't people that really stuck by the old gods or the new gods, blah blah blah, but you guys get what I'm going at. That once they started getting some land, they had kids and so forth, it's only natural that they did start to kind of like play ball with the the constraints in which were in place. So this is a very interesting cast. If you've ever seen a great documentary, it's 1066, like World at War or something. And it has the gentleman who played the Blackfish as Harold Hydrata. So because by the time he fights there, and I like how they put that he's a berserker because he's known for battling on the bridge and so forth. So that's kind of interesting. So let's move it forward. Let's see. Yeah, Cardinal. Yep. For sure. There's these preconceptions. Well, these are not, and I'm going to play it even though I know I'm going to get copyright strike. I'm going to play the whole trailer for you guys. And we'll kind of go like slow-mo through it, but I'm with you. But these are in no way shots from the set, right? These aren't promo pictures. So even on IMDb Pro, not a lot of these people have been in that many projects, which is a good thing. Same with House of the Dragon. They kind of like to get and create their own talent and stuff like that. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if most of these people end up with beards, right? Because look at Bjorn. That guy grew a beard about as good as I do, and they still made him grow one. Alexander Sikig. So Bradley Freegard here, Keeping Faith, plays King Canute. So this is who I'm talking about. King of Dem. I love like the stories about King Canute, and there's actual solid accounts of what King Canute did. And really not a lot of people know. I mean, probably you guys do. You're a lot of smart people are in here. But I didn't know shit about this guy until I was in my 30s, though, to be fair. The King of Denmark, a wise, savvy, and ruthless Viking leader. Keeps his friends close. Like I said, he's savvy. And his enemies closer. That's such a stupid tagline. His ambitions will mold the course of history with the 11th century, in the 11th century, and make him a defining figure of the Viking Age. He really is. Just some quick documentaries. Extra Credits has some good stuff on King Canute, and this guy right here looks fairly young as well. But again, we're gonna have about a 40-year span. I wouldn't expect to see 1066 until the third or fourth season of this series, and let's hope it goes that long. Okay, again, Johannes Hacker, Johannes the Cursed, portrays Olaf Haraldsson. Olaf is Harold's older half-brother. He is physically huge and ambitious. He is a stern and unforgiving Viking. Olaf is an Old Testament Christian. So this dude is, I don't know if you've ever read the Old Testament, but it's like God's like figuring stuff out, ages, a lot of kind of arguably messed up stuff. So this is Harold's brother, who did play a big part, and I hope that they actually do William Harold Goodwinson's brother as well, because he was a big, there's quite a bit of as usually goes with this of brotherly conflict, and but this dude was supposed to be a badass, and supposedly he's already got the beard. I'm pretty sure that he's been in some other Vikings. Oh, he played Lemoncloak in A Game of Thrones. Remember like the really 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 quick scene where we had Ian McShane in that episode. He played Lemoncloak and I believe he was in The Last Kingdom as well. So he's played these types of roles before, as you can see with his beard. He converted to Christianity, which is interesting. Canute, yeah, no, I mean, obviously with his politicking and stuff like that, and he made it. I believe that Canute was also responsible for visiting the Holy Land, meaning when it met the Pope, and then he was before the Templars responsible for making the road safer and cheaper for pilgrims to go to the Holy Land. So just, I mean, I don't know. I'm not taking away from if these people were true believers or not, or I don't really care, but it's an interesting political stance, especially when they're dealing with staunch pagans, Okay. Laura Berlin. Okay. Breaking even. Yes. Thank you, Cardinal. Toastig. Yes. That's the one I want to see. And we don't even have Harold. Actually, we'll get to what's happening with that in a moment. But thank you. Okay, so Breaking Even, never seen it. Plays Emma of Normandy. So this is Canute's wife. And I believe she does marry Harold as well. The young, ambitious Emma of Normandy is from the Norman court and of Viking blood, politically astute and one of the wealthiest women in Europe. She is most likely a descendant of Rollo, so we all know Rollo, from the original Vikings series. So that's kind of cool that we get Emma of Normandy. She was a real queen, and I believe that she was married to two kings of Britain, as well as you would have Norway, like Canute was. So they call it the North Sea Empire. But yeah, I think she was married to two kings, but Canute at first. Okay. David Oakes, love this guy, love him. Great actor. Great actor in The White Queen. Great actor in The Borgias. Did a stage play with Natalie Dormer. Really, really well received in London, which like West London, the theater groups, that's their Hollywood. And let's see, Alicia Kingston, what's up? What's going on? Is Earl Godwin. So now this is Harold's dad. Okay, so the guy that ends up fighting William the Conqueror or William the Bastard in Normandy, and the guy that ends up fighting Harold Hydra at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. Okay, Stanford. This is his father. He's playing his father, who was the head advisor to Canute, and a very, very politically savvy man himself. So it's very interesting, that we're getting. It's cool. Just like we got Athel's, King Alfred's father, right? With Athelred and so forth. We got these people coming, and if they play this series a little bit smarter, come on, Travis Fimmel was the shit, and we all loved Ragnar, so it was never the same. They do kind of maybe slow pace this. They slow roll it. They walk a little bit steady before they start running, and they really set some things up. So not everybody in the fourth season's like, yeah, it's ending, so I'm gonna watch it, but it's never going to be the same after we had one character. So I think this is kind of smart. So born on the political fringes. That's, again, you have to remember, I'm not a historian, and it is what it is, but pretty much England was all sorts of fucked up during this time. Like, Alfred the Great, he did a good job, and his son did an all right job. But then after that, we're talking about 3 generations after that of rulers from the, I forget what their line is called. It's the Ethels or something stupid like that. But yeah, Ethelsteins or something. They don't have a lot of great rulers, like 2 generations past. So I don't know. Not a monarchist, but it is what it is. Born political fringes, his cunning ways get him far. David was another of the several cast members we revealed in the past. Blah blah blah. Good for you, man. That's what happens when you do stuff quick. But no, David Oakes is a really good, really solid performer. Let's see. She was married to Ethelred the Unready first. Just trust me. Okay, there you go. So thank you. I knew she was married to 2 people. And so she was married to the Unready. That's got to be a great nickname to have. It's like, hey, what's going on? I'm Justin the Unready. So yeah, we have now. This is a little bit of a controversial casting. Not in my opinion. It is what it is. I think this is going to be the puzzle piece that links, Freydis and actual Leaf, their stories together. So Carolyn Henderson, Christmas Star, don't know what the hell that is again, will play Jarl Håkon. Not going to pronounce that right, not claiming I did. A great warrior, intolerant leader. Håkon rules Kattegat yay. Again, I don't want Kattegat to be it. I hate to sound like a freaking snob, and obviously I don't know everything about Viking culture, but it's not a freaking place. But oh well, I get it. Continuity, they're sticking with it. They're keeping the snowball fucking rolling. She would manage to keep Kattegat, a city, open to all faiths in a challenging time. She will become powerful mentor to Freydis, who is drawn to her wisdom. So now, this name, this Haken, however you want to pronounce it, I'll figure out the right way eventually, maybe, probably not, let's be honest, was actually, this is a name of one of Canut's, like, lackeys, who did rule, like, a powerful regions within Norway and Denmark. So, you know, like, Canute had a lot of, let's just say it, he had a lot of puppets. And I feel that they have, you know, kind of like played off, but it's good to make your own characters too, so you can craft story and you don't have to piss all over history constantly. So some people are like, oh, that was supposed to be a male, but again, they're playing a part that really doesn't exist between the loose line. We don't know if she's going to be a puppet for Canute at any point. It's saying that she is got a lot of wisdom in all this, so she could be acting like a puppet, right? And she could play that and you know, like, actually sit, you know, the smartest person's the quiet one in the corner that waits, you know, revenge is best served cold, blah blah blah, meaning fucking wait, have patience, and then get your shit done. Something I could learn from. So you know, it's really like a loose interpretation that this has to be this other dude that nobody really knows about anyway. So I feel that this is what it is. I feel that a strong female you know, leader is something that this, you know, if we're just linking these series directly, which I think we should, Vikings has done really well. I never once felt like Lagertha was like just like shoved down my throat as far as like, look at how strong of females I felt they did a far better job than Game of Thrones did. They never had to say she was a strong woman. She just was a strong woman. They didn't shovel it down your throat. It was really like a good, in my opinion, depiction of strength, not only as a warrior, but the other types of strengths, ones that don't come with physical attributes. It's not all physicality, you know, wisdom. As a mother, she was such a good mother, right? Like such a good parent, such a caring person, except for when she married her husband on the wedding night. But you get what I mean, to actually show, you know, other aspects other than, oh, look at how badass she is in battle, because that goes for men just as much. You know, the guy that does the most push-ups isn't the guy that's usually, you know, gonna make it all the way. Just ask the people that get blown up from freaking people driving drones from Radio Shacks these days and ask them brawn or, you know, wit, blah, blah, blah. Going a little bit of tandem there, but it is what it is. And I think that they've done a really good job as far as depicting truly strong women and strong males, just strong characters in general. So let's see what it goes. So gonna be okay. Oh yeah, no, I do want that Cardinal. Okay, so another name, because fuck Justin, right? She's from The Walking Dead. Recurs as Queen, and I cannot get this one. Calculating and ambitious. Queen of Denmark has some hard to play in her political power. Struggles unfolding in Northern Europe. She uses her charm and guile to great effect that she promotes the interests of her Mercian home. See, that's Mercia homeland, and tries to assert herself in Canute's growing power structure. So okay, so we got a little bit of a sneaky sneak here coming in. I don't know. I will look into the history, like I said, and try to figure out a story thread. But we see that this is all going to be about the power players throughout Normandy, throughout England, and throughout Norway and Sweden and Denmark during this time, right? Like this is going to be about, and then you're going to have the Vinland saga that's going on. So again, separate, but I'm assuming will combine with Freydis and Harkin. So, okay. God, these people. I'm just going to call him Adam Crow. No. Asbjorn Crow Neeson. Bran is Jarl Carr, who presents a threat to the old pagan ways. So, yeah, I don't know much about the history behind him, but this is a big looking fella. And, again, there's a lot of assimilation that's happening during this time, people. Like a lot. Vikings assimilated, like I said, fairly freaking quickly. So let's go. So who did she play? Let's say what's up to everybody that's in the chat. Who did she play, Alicia, in the Walking Dead? Because I stopped watching about one season after Negan popped up. So Let's go right here and let's pull up the IMDb Pro. Well, let's first actually give it a whirl, because screw the money that comes from the ads anyways, and hopefully I don't stop it. Let's do the trailer, people, because I thought it was pretty tight. Let me make sure that we got everything going. Mute myself. I was muted, and those are all my good takes. I was talking about when they went. Oh, there. Foolish me. All right, what I was saying there, I was taking a look at the actual filming date. So I was taking a look that they were actually filming in, September. They were filming in November. They were filming in December there. I was talking about how where we saw the smog in the marshes, that looks like that's probably your Vinland Saga stuff. And then obviously where you have your more Norman style fortifications instead of these hill huts, right? Which is kind of cool to see the progression and evolution per se of the strongholds, because the Normans were known for building their castles. We got to see Rollo with one, but they were the ones that really started to put the bricks and mortar together and started to make some things that were more resembling of what we would see like in the 1300s and 1400s and so forth. But yeah, I was saying, that the stunt actors, they're always amazing in these series. I think that the way in which they fight, and I love to watch them actually fight, and they all match. It's like I was a boxer, so I love to see like controlled sparring per se, and how they know that they're going to speed it up to a certain level. So like everybody's in flow. If you watch them, like they're fighting at that speed because then they're going to speed the film up and it's going to fucking kick ass. Vikings is always good. And we can look into the production right now for the final part. And I just find that to be amazing because you just got to imagine if there's one person there that's going a little bit, you know, out of actual sync with everybody else, it's going to fuck everything up. So it takes a lot of coordination. It takes a lot of dedication. And now, okay, so Harkin, what I was saying is, okay, I know that other people have been complaining about this, and you have to tell me more about who this person was in real life, Cardinal. But what I was getting at is that Kattegat is what they're ruling, and they're not. Kattegat's not a real fucking place. So, like, I don't know. I think that they're taking, like, you know, some steps away from who that character or that historical person is. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, there are some people that are, I don't know. I try to stay away from those conversations because I feel like it's a lot of people that are just pissed off because they feel like other people are trying too hard to, like, you know, put different genders in or diversify too much. And then there's the other side that, you know, is pushing so hard to just make everything different that it's just nothing in the center that makes any real sense. And it just saves me some anxiety and stress from just ignoring most of it. But yeah, if it's a very prominent figure that's going to play a historically accurate role and they've changed the gender, then it's worth asking why, and we'll look into it. You know, it's worth asking why. That's pretty much all I can say. So now, okay, so she was the garbage person. No, Alicia, it's not going to be. So okay, I remember her. So she was the people that, like, they changed the dialect of the English language. Yeah. They changed the English language from, like, living in a dump for, like, a year or so, and they started speaking like distinctively different. That was interesting. No. Alicia, this is going to be, I don't know why they released this trailer over there, and then release it here. But let's talk a little bit about the writer for 24 episodes. Okay, so I got a love-hate with Michael Hirst, right? Like, Michael Hirst he is what he is. He does a lot of the writing himself for Vikings, meaning almost all of it. And then you've got this series in which he's an executive producer and showrunner. And he's got Jeb Stewart. And in the actual, in the trades they'll put out, like, and I had it. It's almost like a mission statement, but that's not what it's called. It's the announcement of the production. And they slated Jeb Stewart appropriately because he is going to be the head writer, but like they really pushed, and we're so excited to have Jeb Stewart as a writer. Let me tell you, Jeb Stewart is. I'm not gonna shit on this right away, but okay, so he is the original writer of Die Hard. First off, that's a story adaptation, which there's nothing wrong with that, but Die Hard's based off a book, not named the same thing. So, you know, it's more of a story editor, and yeah, he did have to adapt it. But first off, he lost the job. Like, he didn't finish writing Die Hard 1. This guy didn't, like, get it, they said. Like, so, like, they slate him as the writer here of Die Hard, but I just want to throw it out there because it is worth saying that, you know, okay, so the novel right there by Roderick Thorpe, and then Jeb Stewart's screenplay, and then this Stephen DeSouza. Who's written a plethora of other stuff. So nothing wrong with that. Shit happens, right? People lose jobs. We've all done it. And then The Fugitive, which I believe was a book as well. Yep. Screenplay, characters. So fair enough. Adapting screenplays. Lockup and Just Cause. So he hasn't done jack shit else though. Like, before he did, okay, 1997 was the last project that he did until he did this Blood Done Sign My Name, right? Okay, in 2010. And this is like this, it's like this, I think it's an animation? I mean, what is it? High school teacher drama. Okay, so it's a drama, but this wasn't a large film. I'm sure it's fine, but still, this guy took a 13-year break. This is showing everything that he's done, and then he's slated for this. So it's just weird to me, and I'd love to hear the story about how they came to him and they're like, we need Jeb Stewart, because it seems like Jeb Stewart was fairly out of the game. But hey, it could happen. And, adapting screenplays, taking the sagas and the actual, static accounts that we have from the Normans and, like Canute's rule and stuff like that, the Saxon accounts, like we have some more steady information this time around to go off of. So I guess, but yeah, it's weird. It's a weird move, Cardinal. It's a weird move. In my opinion, I guess I just want to hear the story, around it, because again, I don't know what his connection to Hearst is. So let's see who else. Okay, so we've got Vanessa Alexander, always good. It is always good to see. I think that more importantly, not to get on some like social justice diatribe here, but like I think that like representation in the writer's room is like the most important thing, because you don't get authenticity if it's not written by people like that can understand a female's perspective, or not to say guy writers don't, but it's always good to have, if you're going to have a story that's diverse, probably have some diverse people in the writing staff, just not in front of the screen. So what has she done? Not all that much, but The Warrior's Way, that makes sense. The Man Who Couldn't Dance. Okay, so that's fine. It's fine. Dicey, Silent Witness, Life of Crime, Ripper Street. Okay, so this guy's more in the game. Not that much in the game though. And then you've got all of your producers. Let's look at your actual director. So Barbarians. We've got Steve St. Ledger, known for Vikings, Valhalla, Barbarians, Vikings. So this guy actually directed for Vikings as well. So this is like having like Miguel come back to a point. And this guy's probably not as good as Miguel, but having somebody that's familiar with this type of content. But Jeb Stewart, we'll look into him at a later date, everybody. But I find him to be always a interesting. There is a when I first did my video on this, when Vikings was still like the last season wasn't on Cardinal, I saw Jeb Stewart and I looked him up, and that's all I could get was that fucking Confederate general Jeb Stewart, because like he didn't even have like a wiki at the time, I don't think. So, and there's like if you look at the movies that made America or whatever, like on Netflix, like Jeb Stewart's in that, but not for like, mostly it's talking about how he got fired, how he didn't get it. Barbarians was good. It was good. They stayed authentic. They spoke authentic Aladdin, for us Aladdin heads over here. But I mean, I'm pretty pumped for this series. I think it's going to be interesting because it's obviously going to be, I have no implication or indication that this series will be released anything other than a full release at once, which we had for the last seasons of Vikings, for the last half of the last season for Vikings, right? Which as a content creator isn't always great, because there's not a lot of time in between to make videos and stuff like that, and but as a viewer, I'm really digging it, and I think that Vikings was one of the most underrated series that has been out in recent years. I mean, I think that people have now watched Vikings, that it's like finding a gem, right? It's like finding like something that's like just a great fucking story. And action wise, man, Vikings all day. Like action for fighting, man, the cinematography, like I said, the stunt people, the people that actually choreograph this stuff, my God, and the sound design, the way in which they have battles, and Ragnar, especially in earlier seasons, where it's like only like 15 on 15 in a shield wall, and you're just like thinking about like high school football or whatever at the time, and you're thinking about like running up against somebody, and then you're out of breath, like the music drops, and then you get that, they call it a wham in the business, it's a boom, that comes back, and like they do it with like a big grunt. I know it probably sounds stupid right now, but something about it, it just works. It makes you feel like you're there. It's really well done. Like a lot of people have tried to take things from it, like what's that bullshit called on the history about the Crusaders. I don't remember, but they had like GoPros in their helmets and stuff, and it just didn't work for me. But they tried to take some stuff from it. But even Game of Thrones didn't nearly touch the action. in my opinion. The story was a lot better, but you know, especially your golden era of Vikings was so good. So, and it is cool to see somebody take a creative step back. Now, Jeb Stewart, again, people, I'm going to say it off the bat, weird fucking choice, I guess, but I don't know the dude. But it is weird that, like, Michael Hurst, a guy that's like, you know, you have to understand how controlling he was about the Tudors. That dude wrote it all. Vikings, I don't think there's another author credited. Not author, writer credited. I'd have to look. Hold on, let me actually give that a quick look. I don't think he has other writers, like, usually. So for him to take a step back, I guess he wouldn't take a full step back. But I think that that's sometimes smart, you know, because it is, I mean, I know it's been smart for me in certain areas of my expertise. First, it's a, is it not? No, not the Wilhelm stream. The Cardinal's talking about the Wilhelm stream, scream, the scream that's used, like, it's been used more than any other vocal, and I believe that would fall under, those are, they're not sound design, they're called follies, that do those. They're the people that, like, if you're walking in snow, they'll, like, walk on cornflakes to make the sound, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not First Night. It's, God, what is that bullshit? Mark Hamill's in it now. Let's just look it up. First Night was a fucking badass film. This is a TV. It's still on. If it's, and again, I am an addict when it comes to historical, like, fiction, guys. So if I think it's crap, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's fucking crap, right? I mean, fuck me. But at the same time, it's, if I'm not watching it, and I've watched freaking Rain, I've watched all of it. I don't like it, but I've watched all of it, and I wouldn't shit on it as much as this. So it was, come on. God, Mark Hamill does. Nightfall. Bullshit. But again, I just think it is. I think it's bad. It's just bad for some reason. It just doesn't click with me. But they did an interesting thing with their action. They put GoPros on helmets, which was kind of, it is a cool choice, but it didn't get there for me. And then who did I say that I wanted to? Yeah, let's look at Hurst and see if he had anybody on Vikings with him. I love how the Vikings Valhalla, like, still the it's a picture of Ragnar and Rollo for their IMDb Pro. So okay, so there's one other writer for 13 episodes. Oh, this is Athelstan. So come on, give me, what the fuck? Why can't we just have History Channel's Vikings? I guess I'll just hit Michael Hurst. Fucking IMDb Pro. Okay. There we go. Anyways, looks, I'm surprised he's not got his daughters in this one too. All right. He has a lot. Look at everything that he's got right now. Agincourt. He's got Alexander the Great. Last time I checked, he had some Roman stuff going on too. That, because he has, it's called Green Canopy. The Caesars. So these are all pitches. So when he wrote Vikings, how many other writers did he bring in? I think fucking none. But I like this because I have everything on House of the Dragon. I'm tracking everybody, even like the people that are doing in their art department on here, so like lets you know when shit's going on. Like I said, Morning Dragon will hopefully be coming out soon. Okay, so we do have some other writers. We have Justin Pollard, who did 5 episodes. But that tells you, okay, so he wrote 89 episodes, Michael Hurst, and then he had this fella come in. So does he, is this fella involved in, I don't think so. what I always like is to look at the actual production as far as your art department and so forth to see. Let's see if there's any crossover, because you would hope that they got it. I mean, because they did a fairly good job as far as the aesthetic, besides all the leather and shit. But I'm talking about the battle. So directors, let's see, crossover. Producers, no producer. That could be somebody that just gives money, or okay, so cinematographers. PJ Dillon. Let's see if this guy is. So this guy did Game of Thrones as well. Okay. Let's see. So he's got television and production. Past television. So he did Falcon and Winter Soldier. So they probably because they didn't move it over. Well, everything's kind of the same company, but they did move over to Netflix, which semi fucks the History Channel over. But it's like the History Channel was owned by MGM, so it's kind of a fucked up like pyramid scheme. So like, and then there's your own actual production team within it, Green Canopy for Michael Hurst. If anybody's seen that Big Sky with Catherine Winnick, let me know if you like that. I watched the first season Nightfall and I just couldn't take it more. Yeah, I just got progressively worse. This was a series. Yeah, Nightfall, everybody. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this one. We got this. We've got, what else do we got coming? The Green Knight is something that I went and read the poem. In that's all your, it's Arthurian tales, but it is a poem that it's based off of, and it's about like the fucking culmination of a life, and it's kind of a love letter / propaganda to the chivalric code, because like it was written at a time, they know that it was written at a time in which that's when is about 1370, I think it was written, and this is pretty much the time when people had to like start making knighthood more of a profession than a warrior status, right? Because like they were landed knights, they would own land, they'd have people, so like they had to go with the whole kind of like, they needed some PR. They're like, we just don't go kill, we always, that's where we always keep our word, where we always protect the weak, we always, like all these things. So like it's kind of like argued if it's like pure like propaganda, or if it's just like any of these late like medieval romantic poems in which really do talk about the chivalric way, or like the way in which these warriors find solace, and the way in which they a life is lived, and what makes a good life, all these same questions we ask ourselves now, like what makes a good life and so forth. But it looks really, really good. It's it starts off in that trailer with Gawain stepping up to fight the Green Knight, which in this case it's a literal, like, looks like the guy from Guardian of the Galaxies, what's his name, the tree, he says my name is a million times in it, and I can't remember his name, but you guys will remember who he is. But he chops his head off, and then the whole thing is, a year from now you have to give me a chance to come back. And so like it's that year, but it's like a culmination of a life, and I found it to be like a very beautiful like sentiment within. And I think that it looks like they're doing an Arthurian tale, and they're not doing one thing that I always see, which is, let's make a fucking Marvel franchise out of this, right? Let's make like a whole, like, I love a lot of people that were involved in that last King Arthur movie. I love Charlie Hume. I love a lot of stuff that Guy Ritchie's done. But that film is fucking shit. Like, it's just shit. And like they were signing people ahead of time for multiple fucking films that are never going to get made. It's because like, they see a cash grab, and they do so, like, so to see a film to make it to the big screen, and it's only going to be in theaters. I might actually go out and see it in the theater. And not have any like exterior or any external fucking motives going on here, like as far as like, oh, we're gonna make a cash cow, and we can do another tale about like there's a plethora of Arthurian tales that they could feed off of, and they could start a franchise. But it would just, I think it would lose its poetic sense. And I don't want to sound all sappy, but The Green Knight is, I don't think a lot of people, I didn't read it before, I'll admit it. I bet a lot of people on Twitter will say they read it before, but I think the point of these films is to get people going and read it, and read other, tales and stuff like that are less known. At least I enjoy that type of shit. I don't know. So yeah, see, you got it. On Audible. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a really, really good read. And then it got me looking at all of the genres of poetry at that time, like romanticism, the medieval romanticism, and always reminding me that everybody ties themselves back to Troy. Like every civilization, like Brutus, like they make sure in that poem to tie, everybody in Wales back to Troy, to and back to through Brutus, the slayer of Caesar, which I guess was more popular at that time to tie yourself through. But it's very funny to see. I think they call it brute poetry, but it's a way to establish a noble. It's our Adam and Eve story, right? I know I'm mumbling a little bit here, jabbling, but like the Adam and Eve story of we all came from this, like, I don't know if they consider it divine, but like something bigger, but something like singular, something that is like all empowering and everybody can relate to. So like there's always got to be like this origin that is somewhat set in mythicism and I don't know, a lot of grandeur, obviously. So I don't know. I found a lot of things interesting about it, and it got me wanting to look up. So any recommendations on any Arthurian poetry or anything like that, please send my way. And yeah, we're gonna be trying to get the House of the Dragon, meaning Morning Dragon, going, people, and try to get some more videos out and try to keep covering stuff. And I think House of the Dragon is looking, for the most part, like it's being handled well. I've been loving the Dragon Demands, his breakdowns of like the behind the scenes. I thought had been actually really good as far as him understanding like the nuances and like all the small parts of production, and looking at these pictures they release and actually acknowledging that, like, just because Otto's got like the Hand of the King pin on, like that's probably because they had him put it. Now we don't know, but what I'm saying is I like to see a level head look at this stuff and really break it up, because I hate nothing more than looking at promo pictures and like trying to get the story out of them, because these things are freaking shot specifically so you can't get them, and to confuse you. So like I don't know, I've really liked a few content creators' take on it. Of course, Direwolf City is always fun on Friday nights with the girls. Make sure to check out Gray Area, and her videos are always fantastic. But you have the news side of it, which Morning Dragon, I will try to embrace the Justin side of things, of like, having being a little bit goofy and talking about it, but also, talking about news and developments like that, and keeping people updated, and being not so long-winded. So like a half hour to 40 minutes, something like that, so like kind of a mix between genres right there, or takes on things. So in the old Anglo-Saxon kings were descended from the Wooden. Yeah, I love it, man. Like I wish, every man knows the benefit of not being able to get it in touch with, meaning like that we lack a degree of like separation from what people know about us. Man, if I could like have that degree of separation, I kind of yearn for it. I would write some pretty epic roots for myself for just Sir Justin Thomas, and they'd be full of bullshit, but man, I think I could make some pretty good stories. So yeah, I kind of envy these people that they don't even know for sure like where they resided or if they were male or female, but who cares, because none of that really matters anyway. So like their work is left behind, and there's something beautiful about that. And then their vanity and their hubris is left behind along with it, because everybody's human and everybody wants to be the shit. So yeah, I'd tie myself back to fucking David or something. I'd be like, I fucked up Goliath. My ancestors are badass. I want to hunt like David. But no, thank you guys so much. Thank you to all my Patreons that always support creativity. They come for these things. Like we said, I'll try to weave together like a rough story board for this series. I do believe that we do have our connecting pieces between Vinland and, well, let's just say Europe, because it seems like Freydis Eriksdotter is going to be, for some fucking reason, in Kattegat. But that is what it is. That's really all that makes sense to me. But like for the timeline, I want to get more into what's going on with Canute. And I want to get more of, hopefully we can get some sneak peeks on the set to see if they're doing any of the Byzantium and Byzantine, like the Varangian tales of Harold Hydrata, to see if they actually, because that's some they did a little bit of that with Bjorn, but it really wasn't done that well. So they have a lot more. I don't know if they're accurate, but they're a lot more. They weren't spoken word accounts, right? For a lot of these people, so that who, when, and why they were written, so you can kind of take from that like how much to buy into them. But at the same time, at least it's written, so like it's like, again, I was just bullshitting about making my roots fucking all full of great people and stuff like that. That there's a bunch of bullshit embedded in there, but at least there's more static sources. So, for better or worse, I think for better. So, great gods on on occasions. Hey, you gotta cover the whole board. It's like playing roulette. You just put chips all the way in between on everything. You know what I mean? Just cover that board. What is that called? Pascal's. It's Pascal's wager. Yeah, that it's like, it's better to believe in God than not believe in God. So it's kind of the idea that you can clever your way into heaven, which I'd have to believe that there was something like that. They'd seep through that, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with it. Yeah, Pascal's wager. That's what you're rolling with, Cardinal. All right. Thank you guys. I babbled for long enough. Thank you for enjoying some of the new graphics and letting me try out this new system I got coming. And I will just roll you out with a few. I can't thank you enough. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like.